Hey everyone, this is Kelly Cahoot and I am glad to be back with another video for Honeybee Stamps, and I'm so excited to be sharing and getting to use some awesome products from the United We Flourish collaboration with Ellen Hudson. I'm starting out with the A2 Sunburst cover plate. This started out as one card and it kind of developed into two, so I'm going to get started on the first one. I cut some yellow cardstock and some white cardstock, and this white cardstock has some stick-it adhesive that come in the big sheets on the back of that, because I am going to place that Sunburst on the top of that. And then I had a friend that was generous enough to send me some of her Nuvo Gilding Flakes, and this is the Radiant Gold, and then I'm going to blend in some of the Sunkissed copper. I thought this would be a super cool sunshiny look, and when this is all done, I love the texture that this gives that sunshine. It's not flat looking, it is a great mix of those colors, and as you can see there, I'm just rubbing those flakes into that exposed adhesive that was there with that stick-it adhesive sheet. And so I'm just going to go over and over that and make sure I have all of that adhesive covered. And I'm not being just really gentle with this. I'm giving this a good rub to make sure that that's really burnished into that adhesive. Then I just took a cheapo paintbrush and I'm brushing away the excess. And I have cut the word sunshine, both the shadow that you can see there in navy and then also the word, and that is from the Ray of Sunshine die set. You can see the stamps that go with that there to the right. I'm not going to use those stamps today, but just the dies. And I cut the word out of some chipboard. It's a little chunkier. I went ahead and dipped that into some sticky watermark ink, some embossing ink, and I have dipped it into Nuvo Gold Enchantment embossing powder. And this is glittery. It dries. Instead of being totally smooth like some of the embossing powders are, it does stay a little chunky because it's glittery. So you do have just a bit of texture. It's not super smooth. I have glued that down, added my acrylic block to make sure it was nice and stuck down, and then now I'm going to work on the rest of the greeting. Now this greeting is from that collaboration with Ellen Hudson. It's from the Sending Sunshine stamp set, and I am going to stamp Sending, and then I have the dies Sunshine and then and Smiles. I went ahead and embossed those with that same embossing powder as well. Make sure that those are nice and heated up and nice and set. I'm going to dab on just a tiny bit of liquid glue because it doesn't take much and I don't want it to get squishy around the edges. And then I'm also going to add that acrylic block and make sure that's nice and dry. Now, Honeybee Stamps has put out several new embellishment sets, and this is a set of sequins, and they are called Pumpkin Spice Latte. They're gorgeous. Can you see those gilding flakes in my hair? That's crazy. I just now noticed that. Anyway, so gorgeous sequins in Pumpkin Spice Latte, and they went so well with that rosy gold and the radiant gold of those flakes. I used a beautiful shimmery star for the dot on the eye, and I've got all that down, added it to some blue cardstock, some navy blue cardstock to match that greeting, and that one's all done. Now here we go into the second card. So I wanted to do a little bit of paper piecing. I have temporarily adhered that cover plate that I have die cut in the white paper, the Sunburst A2 cover plate. I've temporarily adhered that to some blue pattern paper. And I cut in two different patterns, a large polka dot and then a small polka dot, the rays for the sun. I added a little bit of Wild Honey Distress Ink just to the edges, and it really sets it off. And as you can see now, I'm going to peel up that die, and I'm just left with the sunshine and the rays, but they're perfectly placed because I cheated and used that die cut from that Coverplate die. Again, I am stacking up some dies here. I've cut it 3 times. I'm going to use that negative space. I'm going to leave those in there to make sure that I can get these lined up perfectly. I use a teeny tiny bit of that Nuvo liquid adhesive and my fine point scissors to make sure those are nice and lined up. Now, the whole greeting from the Sending Sunshine stamp set says, "Smiles are to humanity what sunshine is to flowers." I'm going to stamp that in some VersaFine black ink, and I'm going to heat emboss it with clear embossing powder. I don't have very good luck with black embossing powder. I tend to get speckles of black onto my project, so I'm going to cheat and do it this way. I'm going to stamp that down using my mini Misti to make sure those stamps are nicely lined up. And then here's where I get out my clear embossing powder. I'm going to make sure that's coated really well and then heat set it until it is nice and smooth. Now, before I started this card, I used the Zen Floral stamp set, and I stamped that border, as you can see there to the right. I stamped it in the VersaFine ink, and I colored it with a bunch of Nuvo markers and the Nuvo colored water brush pens. They were so fun to play with. And I am adding that there to the bottom. I thought that went perfectly with that sentiment about the sunshine and flowers. And I trimmed off the sides that hung off, and then I added the rest of my greeting, and again I am heat embossing it exactly the same way as I did the top part. Make sure that is nice and smooth. When I get this part done, I'm going to trim down the sides. You can see there where my rays of sunshine don't quite go to the sides of my paper. I'm going to trim that down. I did add some beautiful Wink of Stella in the clear to the word sunshine, quickly just over the top of that to add a little bit of sparkle. I'm adding this after I trimmed it down to a white top folding card base. I'm going to add that there, and it's all done. That was super fun to make. I love all these sunshiny, awesome products that are new from Honeybee Stamps. And here's that first card there. You can really see the texture in those flakes. I love that. Thanks for joining me. All the supplies can be found in the description box below and at honeybeestamps.com. I hope you will check that out, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.